Hi, welcome to this big day. It's Saturday, it's November X 16th, and I've been developing a new ArcoLinux version for December. And I'd like to call this the big switch because everything is going to change. Not for the end user won't see one thing, but GitHub's applications. A lot of things are going to change, and I'll document it in minor, so not always, but in this case, we have been developing, for instance, the ArcoLinuxD ISO. This is the development GitHub, and this is the regular stable GitHub, let's say. And we have been changing things. So I'm going to move today and the coming days from one version to the other. This is called ArcoLinuxD development version. We are going to name it 1912.10, so the number is 10. And I'm going to compare everything. This is Melt. Melt is a great tool to see the difference between one GitHub and the other one. So the number is okay. This is what's changed. If, and maybe you will become, an ArcoLinuxB builder, so a builder that creates its own ISOs. If you are, you'll see that everything has changed. There are some name changes, so this doesn't do anything. It's just a nice comment here, up here, and up here. So we are going to rename things, organize things, structure things, because more and more in my mind, things are more organized, really. That's it, basically. Let me show you what I mean. Control-1, Control-H. This is it. The structure has been changed a little bit. We have the ArcoLinux folder here, ArcoLinuxB folder, and this is when you build something, then you get an out, and this is the build folder itself. Anything concerning with Calamares, anything concerning with the .config in your folder, in your home directory, anything if you want to build with ArcoLinuxD ISO, the scripts, everything with the dconf, which is kind of database, all the packages if you want to install XFCE, then there are settings for it, so the desktop settings. This is still building, and our ISOs, how to build, right? Out again, building, the repos that we have, and the wallpapers. So the structure is something that we have changed, and hopefully, I'm sure it will get clear that we have different boxes. If we want to install something on our system, we need for every box a little piece. And we can't put two pieces, for instance, in a system because they will clash. So things will become more and more clear, and that's why the structure had to change. That's why a lot of packages have been created. So we have this visual distinctiveness between different parts of your system. So I'm gonna go over these guys and see that everything is the same. So development to stable. And of course, if you in the meantime do something, it will not work. You'll have to wait for the sign you can build now. But at this point in time, I'm just doing this locally. So here is one of the major things is when we built our ArcoLinux Extended, which wants to promote the tiling window managers, 6 of them, and OpenBox as fallback. We've saw it's actually more interesting that the desktop files, like i3, like XFCE, like OpenBox, like Plasma, those are desktop things, that it's nicer that they're out of this long list. And insides or more at the bottom, so that there's distinctiveness between a Firefox and a Vivaldi and a GIMP and the actual desktop. So these guys are down there, so they get overwritten. LightDM is important, of course, or display manager. OpenBox again is a desktop, so it's going to be overwritten here. It's going to go to the bottom of the page. Utilities, And here we start with ArcoLinux repo ISO, the applications, cursors, fonts, i3 and i3 gaps. We've let go of i3 gaps next, so we're going to go with i3 gaps from the ArcoLinux repo. The less complexity, the better, in the sense that this is not to be, the i3 gaps is yay, is Tryzen. It comes from AOR, it needs to be managed, it has to be on a repo. This one doesn't, it's just coming from Arch, which is of course less work. So that one is down there again. Again, a desktop. These are all parts of OpenBox, so not here, down there as well. So XFC, OpenBox, i3. Utilities, fine, utilities, games, the folder for ArcoLinux. We've changed a lot of things. You see that the development and the other one is totally different. A lot of things have changed. And the thing is, you can't make any mistakes in 33 GitHubs. So that's why we call this guy a big switch. So deleting this guy, this is a desktop package. If you want to install Awesome, you want to have our configuration of Awesome, that's the one you need. Otherwise you'll get a strange black screen and it won't do anything. So this one is at the bottom, somewhere else, not here. All desktop stuff, not here. This is actually some kind of REST folder, right? If it's not a desktop, if it's not a config, if it's not a dconf, if it's not Calamaris, it's gonna be in here. So these are all .config things. You're out. This is a desktop thing. It needs to go to a desktop box, let's say. And as well here, all desktops. This has to do with the Linux LTS, which was locally on our ISO. We had a repo, but today I figured out Python, I figured out Calamaris, and we can install Linux LTS from the ISO if you have internet. So that's out as well. This is desktop, out you are. Mate, out you are, you're at the bottom. These guys have all been replaced. We had a lot of extra packages, one for Awesome, one for BSPWM, one for Herbstloop, one for Qtile, with just one thing. I've written a script so that everything is now governed by one package. So these guys are all out. They will disappear. You will think, hey, where is it gone? There's just one of them. Okay. So there's a nice little script that's going to cover that. Then there's the Open OB menu generator extend. Remember the project we had, ArcoLinux extended. I've made a new menu, and that's actually, well, the one I like most. It's a very minimal one. So this one needs to go here, and OpenBox, it's a desktop package, so that needs to go down there. So I'm gonna move this one over here. This again is a desktop thing, somewhere else, not here. Qtile thing, desktop, XFCE, desktop. So we have achieved the same thing. We're almost at the bottom. And here we get these boxes. If you want to play with the Lego, then you take pieces from a box that you want. In the sense, this is a desktop box. So you want to install a desktop. Fine. So what do? You type in this case, the first line here, you type in sudo pacman -s, awesome, vicious, and this one. And it's going to work. Two things. The application that you find on ArchWiki, and we have a nice cheat sheet, we'll share it with you. And that's it. Get the application, get the configuration of the application, in this case the desktop, that's what we're talking about. So desktop 1 config, the desktop for it, the settings that we use, ArcoLinux uses. So all these things are here. In this case we are having just one because all of them have an hashtag except this one. So in this case XFCE is going to be loaded. Then Another box we're gonna play with is the .config. In your home directory, there is always a .config. And if we want to build an ArcoLinuxD for awesome, we'll need .config files for awesome. And for BSP WM, we'll need other things. Maybe, right? Could be just the same. But we are free to do it. So a lot of packages have been created to get this freedom, so that every desktop has its own settings. So again, here just XFC is gonna load and all the rest is there to play around with it, but not yet, not on this particular ISO we're making. And here we have all the boxes, so the Lego boxes for Calamares. Calamares is a graphical installer, and we've changed the name. I think we can see it somewhere here. So here the name is Calamares, and we've changed the name so you can keep building while we are developing. And that's the Arco Calamares. It's a new one. So this is a new package. So you have to wait till the complete switch, the big switch, is finished, because it's going to point to a particular file. I'm going to delete the Calamares, so it's going to be gone. So if you are building on old GitHub files, you'll get errors like hell, right? A lot of errors. So first, let us do our job. Let us do our switch. Then git pull, download it again, and then you can start building. So the Arco Calamares is one Calamares, one for all systems. And if I want to try out something, I'll try it out in a dev version, the development version. And if I want to compare it, this dev version, with something else, with another thing I want to try, it's going to be the comp version. So to compare this one with this one, what's the best solution for me? The ArcoLinux system installations, that's the package to actually install some extra elements so that Arco Calamares is going to work the way I want it to work. And afterwards, this one goes from the PC, and this one is going to be uninstalled from the PC, because after the installation, you don't need to have Calamares again. Well, it shouldn't be on the PC. So this is rather important, because we have the application, Arco Calamares. We have all the dependencies. If you don't have them, this won't work. But that's all ISO, right? ISO material. Afterwards, they're gone, or depending on the desktop, they're still there. For instance, in Plasma, a lot of these things will still be there because KKK, right? KDE. But you also need the configuration. So if you want to install Extended or GWM, which we're still developing, guys. So these things, you need to get the configuration for your Calamares. So that's where this thing comes in. And here you put a hashtag again where it needs to go. And we're building the ArcoLinuxD. So Arco D Calamares config, right? Arco B Calamares Plasma. So it's all hopefully better structured for you guys, so you know from which box you should take a piece. And here we have the desktop specific stuff. So these guys have been moved from up there to down here. And we always start, and I keep telling that to people, even though we have 35 ISOs in the end process, we just have one ISO. One ISO. And this is the template, right? This is the template. In ArcoLinuxD, we say we don't want i3, we don't want OpenBox, we don't want anything. We just want to enter the black thing, right? So that's ArcoLinuxD. So in this case, they're all hashtagged out. But if you want to have i3, it's just a few hashtags gone, and i3 is installed. If you want to have OpenBox, it's this bunch, right? If you want to have XC, it's that bunch. So I've been figuring out how to have less. So this can go. Some of the things can go, like mousepad, XFC settings are no longer on the ISO. So we also look for things where we can cut, minimize, more efficiency, things like that. So those things will not be installed anymore. And here we have GTK engine Murine. If you do not install, no problems, but you get errors inside each session, and if you don't install it, so it's just a little small package, and then you don't see all these errors there. And then the ISO specific stuff. So this guy, this bunch of things, you think, hey, why is he deleting all that? It's up here. Calamares dependencies, CKB comp, right? It's in here somewhere. So that's out as well. And here you'll see the difference. So you'll always have this template, this long list. And if we have awesome, it's gonna add awesome and vicious to the list. If you have budgie, it's gonna be budgie desktop, I think it is, right? Things like that. So underneath here will be the rest of our ArcoLinuxD. So it's quite big change. Like I said, it's not a big change for if you just install it. If you just use an ISO and burn it and then install it, you won't see a thing. But if you're ArcoLinuxD, so building from scripts, if you're an ArcoLinuxB user, well, yeah, then we need to adapt, right? Okay, that's it for now. I'm gonna continue the updating. For now, and then I will make a video so you know what's going on.